What's up, guys? Welcome to Sewing with Steve. Today I won't be on a sewing machine, but I will be showing you how to make a pattern on Adobe Illustrator. I do this professionally for clients, so I think it would be really helpful for a lot of people. I know when I first got started, I didn't know shit about making a pattern. I didn't know how to line up all the dimensions around corners and just all that. So I'm going to make it really easy for you, and hopefully by the end of it, you completely understand exactly how to make a pattern, and then you can go on and make bags that blow your own mind. Anyways, I hope this helps. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment. I appreciate you. The first step in Adobe Illustrator is I create a new document. Now within this document, I always go to print, and I change points. It always goes to points. I change that to inches. And I'll just start with a 50-inch by 50-inch template. You can kind of leave everything as is and create the document. Now here we have a fresh template. So the backpack that I'm going to be making is very basic. It's going to be 12 inches wide, 18 inches high, and 6 inches deep. I'll add some fun aesthetic situations, but overall it's just going to be super basic. So I will start by going to my rectangle tool. Now I recommend, if you are getting into Illustrator for pattern making, that you learn your hotkeys. You can even customize them. So I'm going to click on the document with my rectangle tool. I'm going to make it 12 inches wide and 18 inches tall. There is my basic shape. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I like to throw in a taper to the top of the bag. I think aesthetically it looks good. I'm going to grab this corner and I'm going to bring it to the right by a ½ an inch. Now, to get to that screen, your hotkey, you do a direct selection tool, is going to be A. If you hit V, it gives you the black arrow and it selects the whole item object, and if you hit A, it gives you the white arrow. So click on the other corner and then you can hit return or probably enter on a PC, and I'm just going to go minus ½ an inch horizontal. So that gives me a full 1 inch taper to the top of the bag. So I will hit A again and I'll grab the bottom 2 anchors. Now there is this corners tool where you can click and drag and make corners. Instead of dragging, I'm going to go to the top here and I'm going to give it a 2 inch radius. Then I'll grab the top 2 with my direct selection tool, and I'm just going to drag these all the way. And here you can see we have a very classic style backpack. So what I'll do is I will figure out exactly what my bag is going to look like in Illustrator. I'm just going to draw it out. So there's maybe the front, and then here is the back. The back is just going to be plain mesh. I'm going to use a standard mesh. In the front, I want there to be a pocket. So I'm gonna create a line. So you can go to the line tool, or you can hit the // I don't know which one it is. It's the same one as the question mark on a Mac. I'm going to draw my line, and I'm going to put this where I want the zipper to be. Now I like to drag it to the very bottom. I hit return, and this allows me to say I want a 6 inch pocket, allows me to go 6 inches up. Say I want it to be 7 inches, I'll go up 1 more inch. That aesthetically looks pretty good. Now I know that the zippers that I use with the seam allowance, once the zipper is finished, they're going to be about 3/4 of an inch. That's a standard number 5 YKK zipper. So I will, I'll take my line, I will copy it, which is, you can go to edit copy, or you can see here you do Command C. So I'm going to do Command C, and then I'm going to paste it in front, which is Command F. And now I have 2 lines. You can't tell, but if I hit enter, because I'm going to move it by throwing in my dimensions, I'm going to put in minus 0.75 inches. So now I have the front of my bag basically how it's going to look. And in between those lines is going to be the zipper. So next thing I'm going to do, I said that I would do a 6-inch depth. So I'm going to take my rectangle tool again, or press M. I'm going to click on the top right, and I'm going to set my width to 6 inches, and my height is already set to 18 inches because that was the last shape that I made. I'm going to create that. So now I have the side profile of my bag. I want this bag to have a side pocket, and I want the side pocket to align with the top of that zipper. So you could get your line tool, and you could draw a line straight over. Nice thing is that Illustrator, see this pink guide pops up. I can just go to the edge and I can hit 6 inches, and that's going to cover the width. So that is where my pocket will end. And I'm going to be doing a binding tape, gross grain, whatever you want to call it, and it's going to be about 1/2 inch down. So that's essentially what it's going to look like finished, but you don't actually need that line. You only need that single line. Now, to put in my zipper, I want the zipper to be on the front of the bag. So if this were the front, let's type in front here. Here's the front of my bag, and here's the back. You could do this if you need the reference. I don't need to, but I want you guys to be very clear about what exactly I'm doing here. I'm going to grab my line tool again. I'm going to draw a line straight down on the face of the bag. And then I'm going to hit V, which gives me my black arrow. I'm going to hit return, and I'm going to go 0.75 inches because that is the width of my zipper at a finished dimension. So here we have the front of my bag, and this is the zipper is going to basically just go all the way around on the front of the bag. It's not necessarily ideal if your pocket ends exactly where your zipper is, because you're going to have a lot of seams or fabric layers right here if that's exactly where your seam is. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to grab the bottom of my zipper, and I'm going to make it extend, let's just do 1 inch down. And that's actually where my zipper is going to end. So this is where I will have a seam underneath the pocket. That's where the seam will be for my zipper. And this will be my pocket. So now that we have the front or the back profile, the front profile, and the side profile, what I need to determine now is my interior. So I'm going to take that same front profile of the bag, duplicate it. I'm going to center this all. And I am not going to show you guys exactly all the hotkeys. I'm just going to kind of process through this. If you need to know hotkeys, you can Google those. So I'm going to draw my line, and I want there to be a laptop sleeve. So I'm going to draw a line at the bottom, and I want the laptop sleeve to be 11 inches high. So that's where it's going to go. So visually, that is what it'll look like. I'm also going to use binding across the top there. And boom. So I have the back of my bag, the front of my bag, the side of my bag, and the interior. I'm not going to worry about any more crazy pockets because I want this to be super simple. So if this is my bag, I'm going to go over to artboards over here in the bottom right. If it's not there, you can go up to window and you can select artboards and it'll pop up. I'm going to create another artboard, and what I will do here is show you how to do the pattern. So my back panel is going to be one solid piece. I set my hotkey to Option Command O, and it offsets the path by whatever dimension that I want. So if I want a 3/8 inch seam allowance, I'll put in 0.375, 3/8 of an inch, and voila, there is the piece of fabric that I would cut out. Now to get to that tool, let me see if I can actually remember. I'm going to go to Object, path, offset path, and that will bring you to the offset path. So if you look up, just Google how to set your quick keys, you can custom put that in there, because I don't believe that there's a quick key for it right out of the package with Adobe Illustrator. So this I know is going to be my back panel. Let's just set something like 100. We're going to center it. This is where I get super anal, so bear with me. And I'm just going to center align it there. I like to, because I'm going to be printing out this pattern, what I like to do is take that outside stroke, and I'll go up top here to stroke. And if it's not there, I believe you can go Windows stroke here, and it'll bring up its own window right there, but I just do it up here. Anyways, I will do like 3, 5, whatever it is, and I will click on the stroke, and then you can actually make it so the stroke aligns to the outside. Let's zoom in real close here. So here I've got it on the middle, and you can actually see the blue line. That's the stroke, but because I'll be cutting this out of paper, I want to cut on the actual line. If you put it inside, you can cut on the outside of the line, or you put on the outside and you cut on the inside of the line. It's completely up to you. This is my preference. So there is my back panel piece. How stupid easy was that? So I'm going to label this. I'm going to cut out one mesh. Actually, let's do spacer mesh. And then I'm going to do one lining. What I do when I do padding, just a generic padding, is I take that primary shape, this one, and I am going to offset it by -0.5 inch. I'm going to delete the exterior one, and that's generally how I set my padding. So this is going to be back panel pad. And I'm just going to cut one padding. If you select this line and you actually click I, the letter I, you can click on this and it'll copy over that detail. So there's my back panel padding. So basically I'm going to layer one piece of mesh, back panel padding, and then one piece of lining, and sew those together. There's my back panel. And I'll group these. That way if I click on them, I just have to click on one. So then I'm going to copy the front of the bag. I'm going to paste it. Now, what I want to do here is extend these lines. Boom. Okay, now there's these nifty tools right here. What's it called? Pathfinder. If you don't see it, Windows, Pathfinder. If you don't have any of these set up, if you just go to Window and find the thing. So this one's Pathfinder. This one specifically is what I'm looking for, and it'll cut up those pieces. So what it did is it took those two lines, whoops, let me ungroup it, and that's the zipper piece. So I don't need that as part of the pattern. I'm just going to sew the zipper on. But these two pieces, this is my top front panel, this is my back front panel. So I will take both of these, I will offset path, and I'll do 3/8 of an inch. Boom. Hit I, click on there. There's my top front panel. There is my front bottom panel. Now, if you see this, when let's say I copy this, and I paste it, and I align them, because my zipper is 3/8 or 3/4 of an inch, and this is 2 3/8 sections, they should line up perfectly, which is pretty convenient. So now what I actually need to do is I need to figure out what exactly does this pocket look like? How does it function? So what I want to do is actually have a piece of fabric that is going to be behind, but it's going to be in the shape of the bottom front. But it's going to have an extra 3/4 of an inch of height, plus the seam allowance. So I'll show you, I'll just grab this piece and I'll grab that, I'll copy them, and I'll paste them over here. Now I like to align them perfectly so that I know I'm not jacking it up. I'm going to select both of them, go over to my Pathfinder tool, and this is the one that I'm looking for. It takes the two shapes and it just gives me the similar area. So this should fit perfectly right there. I'm going to offset 3/4, hit I, click there, and boom. This, let's copy this, boom, paste it. I don't like doing things more than once. I also like being perfect. It's insane. Okay, so I'm going to say front pocket interior. And this is going to be one lining. Guess, hey, I did that too soon. There. Copy this, paste it. It's very important for me that I label all my pieces. So this is my front pocket exterior. And this is going to be one shell, which is my exterior fabric. Group those. Paste that again. And this is going to be my front top exterior. Boom. That doesn't look great there. Group that. So now I have the full front panel of my bag done. Now, this is where it gets really fun. This is, I think, where a lot of people get confused, but to me it's very simple. I'm going to take both of these. I'm going to copy it all, and I'm going to paste it. Now I'm going to work with another artboard just because I like having my space. Let's see. Okay. And then I'll just pull in all my final pieces here. So this will be like my working artboard. So to figure out how long, we're going to have a couple panels. We're going to have this top panel. We're going to have the bottom panel, and then we're going to have the pocket panel. This is my pocket. I'll kind of bring it over. Let's just figure out the base structure of the bag. I'm going to draw a line straight across from there. I'm going to take this, I'm going to cut it, ungroup, I'm going to delete this bottom, or move this bottom piece, not delete it. I'm going to cut. I'm going to take, this is a new tool, C for cut. Also the scissors here, so it's a scissor tool. And you're going to click on both of those bottom corners, and you're going to delete that line. You can also click A or select A, which is your direct selection tool, select that line and delete it. So this now tells me the length of this top panel, and this tells me the length of this bottom panel. Here's how you get the length of this. You're going to go up to the top right. It's going to say document info. If you don't have it, Windows, document info. Then you're going to select the menu. You're going to go to objects. Now you see here it says it's 28.962 inches. That's how long this single path is, 28.962 inches. So if I figure out without the zipper, so this top panel minus the zipper is going to be 5.25 by 28.962. 28.962 by 5.25. Now this is the piece of fabric that we'll be showing. I'm going to offset my path 3/4 of an inch. Click I. Boom. There. There's my top panel. And then this, I'm going to do the same for the bottom. Go up to document info. Pass 23.675. But this one has a width of 6 inches. So 6 inches by 23.675. And I made it tall, whatever. I'll click E. Also this tool, free transform. And I'll just rotate it while holding shift so it locks in. There's my bottom panel. Offset the path 3/4 of an inch. Boom. There's my bottom panel. So now these, I don't need those. I do need this still. I'm just going to drag over the pocket. get it out of the way, and then let's see, copy and paste these over here. Didn't group them. So this is my top side panel. And I'm going to do one shell and one padding because I want it to be lined. And then I'm going to copy and paste this, bring it here. This is my bottom side panel. And you could call this gusset or whatever, it really doesn't matter. As long as you know what the hell it means, we good. Group and group. All right, let's see here. Boom. Got my top panel, got my bottom panel. Ciao. Okay, so now I need to figure out the pockets. So I'm just going to do one full piece of fabric that's going to wrap down and underneath the bag, and then I'm just going to put stitches across. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that. I'm going to again copy this, paste it. I'm going to align them on top. So if you need to perfectly align two objects, what you can do is select this rectangle and this shape because I want them to be aligned at the top. I want it to be aligned to this one, so I'm going to click on this one again. It's going to give me that selection. I believe they call it, key object. So by hitting this, hold shift, click that, and then click on this one again, it gives me that as a key. And then I can hit this align tool on vertical align top. You can also go into window, and then you're going to click on align. That's going to bring up these tools. Very handy, especially for pattern making. This is my pocket, so I'm going to just make a line all the way across. I'm going to select those pieces, go to my Pathfinder like I showed you, and I'm going to divide it. Again, I'm going to ungroup. I don't need this top panel anymore. Select A, delete that line. Go to my document info, and it's 25.675. What did I say it was? 25.675. 25.675, and it is the full width of the bag, so 6 inches. There is my pocket. Offset path, 3/4 of an inch. Click I, click on the line so I don't have to do it again. Group it, cut it, paste it, bring it up here. Copy this, paste it. So this is going to be bottom pocket panel. And that I can just do a shell. I don't care to line it. Line it center. Group those guys. Okay. So now I have my back panel, my back padding, my back interior panel, my front exterior top, my front exterior bottom, my front pocket lining. And then let's go ahead and take this one and we'll do another one lining piece. Oh, I guess that would mean it's 2 lining. So we'll do 2 lining pieces. And what that does is it will allow me to put another piece behind this front panel to hide this kind of pocket piece, and it'll line the front. This exterior, this is also going to be 1 shell. Cool. Make sure you get those right. Otherwise, you'll be crying after you cut out all the fabric. One of the last pieces that I need is the laptop pocket. So I'm going to take this, copy it, bring it down to my working artboard. I'm going to divide it, ungroup it. Boom. Here is my laptop pocket. Offset it 3/4 or 3/8 of an inch. Now, because I'm going to do binding tape across the top, I don't actually need this top piece here. So I'm going to draw a line, divide it, delete it, there. Boom. So now I have my laptop pocket. And you could put padding in between this. I'm not going to worry about it for this project. Let's copy this over. We'll just say laptop pocket, one lining. Boom. Align those center, group it. There it is. So the only thing that I really have left to do is to make the straps. What I will do is figure out how long I want to make them. I generally do a 3-inch gap. So let me just draw a 3x3 box. I'm going to center align it there. So it would start here. It would go down. I like mine to be 2 inches wide and probably be 16 inches long. So we'll do 2x16 to get that perfect. I'll just click 2x16, make a rectangle. Boom. There is my strap. That's what they'll look like. Super fancy straps. So how are we going to pattern this? Let's figure that out. I'm going to paste it down here. What I'll probably do is just do one piece of fabric. So I'm going to copy and paste. So it's a double width. I'll just combine those in the Pathfinder with the Unite. And then I will do a 3/8 of an inch. And then select that. Now you can get all sorts of fancy with your straps. You can do them however you want. I will get fancy with it later, but that's just how I would plan it. I'll paste that up here in my working pattern. Center it up. You could even turn it. And this is going to be back strap. And I'm just going to make 2 of them, so 2 shell pieces. Then you'll probably put padding in there, but I don't necessarily think that you need a pattern piece for it. If anything, this would basically be your pattern. You could adjust it while you're sewing. Back strap pad, 2 padding. Boom. There it is. Okay, so you could do all sorts of things. You could, if the bottom pocket panel or the bottom side panel, which I guess would just be the bottom panel for the gusset, I will actually just call it the bottom gusset panel, top gusset panel. Whoop, gussy. You could, if you wanted there to be padding in there, you can grab that interior rectangle, paste it, offset it by 0.5 of an inch, because that's generally what I do, like I told you guys, and then boom. Yeah.
You got a second?
Nope.
No?
How about 5-10 minutes?
Okay.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to copy over this name, and this will be bottom gusset padding, and we're just going to do 1 padding. Also, I see that 1 is padding, so we'll change that to lining, and we'll change this one to lining as well, because that's silly. Don't be silly, Steve. Boom, center, center, group it. So there's my pattern. My trick is that I go to Kinko's to get this printed off. Now I know that Kinko's prints 36 inches wide. So I'm going to set up a document that's going to be 36 inches wide by, just give it 100. Let's see. Now this is my final pattern pieces, so I will pull these all here so that they're on that document, and then I'm going to paste them. Now what I need to do is just line these up in a way that makes the most sense for printing. You could take forever to do this. I like to have some spacing for be able to cut the paper out. What I do is I order online. I think I get it on Amazon. I haven't ordered it in a while because I've not been doing a lot of patterning lately. But I order manila pattern paper, so it's nice and thick. So what I'll do once I get this back from Kinko's is I will paste it, the whole sheet, onto, I'll lay out the roll of the manila, and I will just paste it onto there and then cut it all out, which is pretty awesome. My manila is 4 feet wide, so I lose a little bit of efficiency, but you know, it's really not too bad. So patterning a basic bag for sure does not take very long at all. Patterning a more intense bag takes quite a long time. And once you get it all pasted here, one thing that I forgot to do while I was in there was putting notches so that you could line up all your pieces. Now this is pretty simple, and I'll just start from the top. I'm going to select my line segment tool. I'm just going to click here in the top middle. You can go about 0.25 inches, and then you want it to be pretty thick so you can notch. That's a really good place to have a notch, is in the top middle of that panel and then the bottom middle of the panel. Now we'll add some more in there as well, but first let's just get those primary guys exactly where they need to go on all these panels. So there's one in the middle of that panel. Boom. See, you don't need it for the padding. And this just makes it a breeze when you're lining up all your pieces. And all I did was I copied one of these guys and I'm just pasting them all over the place. Okay, now the other important one is going to be on this panel. So really the only one that I need is where the top of the pocket aligns with the back panel, because all the pieces being sewn together will get aligned. The full gusset will be sewn together before I bring it here. The only reference I need on here is the pocket. So to figure that out, I could just grab this, copy it, paste it, and then I'll just get rid of all the interior lines. I'll align it perfectly here, and my pocket's gonna align right there. There. Very simple process. So all my notches are in. Oh, you know, it's another notch that I really like to have is my 3 inches. So if I go here, I make that 3 by 3 inch box. You could make a line, it doesn't matter. A line at center. So here I'm gonna want, boom, my line there, my line there. Is good baselines. I got a little crazy on you. Sorry about that, but it'll serve you well. Now just drag that over. Boom. That way when I'm going to put my back straps on there, it's very simple to align, as well as my webbing piece. So there it is. So now you can save this as a PDF. You just go to File, Save As. In the format, you're just going to go to PDF. Backpack pattern PDF. I already named it. Range. I only want the 3rd artboard, so it's going to be range 3 to 3. Save it. Yes, I want to replace the one I already saved. And then I can go to Finder, Downloads, Backpack pattern. Zoom out, and there's my pattern. So I'll send this to Kinko's. I'll just email it to them. They'll print it and be off to the races. So I love you guys. Good luck. There it is. Good luck, Charlie. Hulu.